So I have printed these 2 pages off with my laser printer. I designed them on Canva and I printed them off onto cardstock because I want to use them as end pages for my text block. Now, I'm going to toner foil them, which toner foiling is where you print with your laser printer and the toner sits on top of the paper and it's a little plastic. I don't know how to explain it, but from what I've heard, it's like tiny plastic particles, so that when you put the foil over top and you run it through the ink machine, it melts the plastic and binds to the foil so that the foil stays and adheres to anywhere that there is toner on the page. So it's almost as if you are printing in foil, which I think is amazing. So I do not have enough silver left, so I'm going to grab gold out of my bin. I think the gold works a lot better with my theme anyway. So I guess it's fate. So we're going to cover each of our pages with a length of the gold foil. You can even tell with the foil right here just how pretty it looks together. I'm actually glad I was out of the silver foil because this gold. Now, the first page is done, run through the ink machine, and look how it turned out. I'm extremely happy with it. We're going to wait for our second page to come out. And they're both just absolutely perfect. I could not be happier with the gold on the blue. Pro tip, if you're trying to use toner foiling onto cardstock and it is just not showing up or sticking well, then use the Recollections brand cardstock from Michaels. Even if you don't have one in town, as I do, the closest one is an hour away. It is worth having it shipped to the house because they always come out stunning. So now that they've been folded into their own mini signatures, we're going to add them to the front and the back of our text block. Make sure that you check before adding them to the text block that they don't have a certain way they should be, as in like up and down. I have glued them on upside down before, and it just ruins the entire thing. This one does not have a certain way it needs to be, so we're good. We're going to add about 1 to 2 millimeter worth of glue. We want it to stick well because this is how it's going to adhere to your hardcover, your case, and but you want to be able to open the page like a page, and if there's glue halfway up the page, it's not going to open. PVA glue does a really good job of adhering, so a little thin strip should be more than enough to connect your end pages. Now that both sides are lined up and pressed on firmly, it only needs a couple seconds to actually adhere. Obviously, it's going to take a little longer to dry, but a couple seconds is more than enough to get them to adhere at the beginning. So you're going to need your book press and a piece of mull along with your PVA glue. Make sure you stick about a centimeter or so out of your book press so that when you put all the glue on the spine, you're not accidentally gluing it to the book press. Now you're going to want to generously add glue to the spine of your book with a paintbrush. Make sure that your book is pressed really tight because this is how your text block is going to stay. So go through and generously add the glue. Make sure you get it really good in between the stitches on the French links. There's a pretty big space in there to add the glue into. We really want it to reach all parts of the signatures. And we don't want anything moving. Make sure you also go to the edge because you also want it to include the end pages. You don't want them accidentally falling off. So just make sure you get every part of your spine pretty good. Now we're going to want to put our mull in the middle, and we're going to add glue on top of it, making sure that it is secured really well. Make sure all the little squares of the mull in the middle are full. This is what's going to lend strength to your spine is the fabric of the small. Now, once this is done, we're going to want to set it aside for a good 4 to 6 hours. You want to make sure every bit of the glue is dry, not just the top layer. I would preferably leave it overnight. That way I know for sure that everything is completely dried. But if you do not have the patience or the time to wait overnight, I completely get it because I'm the same way. Just give it a few hours and press down on it once the top layer is dry to make sure everything underneath is as well.